I built the fastest growing personal brand in the business space. Took Dan Martell from under 100K followers to over 10 million across all platforms, and my personal brand from 0 to 50K. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you the 50 content hacks that you can use to build your personal brand fast. Number one, don't lean your ladder against the wrong wall. When you're going on this journey of building your personal brand, make sure to understand who you want to be perceived as in the future, and make sure that's aligned with your long-term goals and what would you need to do to get there. Like me, if you want to be known for content, make sure that's aligned with your 25 and 50 year goals. If I wake up one day and I've built my personal brand around content and I end up hating that topic, I'm not going to be happy that I built that personal brand. So make sure to lean your ladder against the right wall. Number two, views don't matter if they don't convert to followers. I see a lot of people chasing views, right? Getting millions of views on their social media. But when those views don't end up turning into followers, all you're creating is negative brand association to your face, right? You're getting all these views, all these people seeing your face, but then not liking what they're seeing and not giving you a follow. You'll end up like these personal brands in today's world that have tons of facial recognition, but no goodwill built up in the market, and that is the biggest mistake I see most content creators make in today's age. Number three, give all your shit away for free. Literally take your internal processes and give them away for free. Information is a commodity, and how you differentiate yourself in today's age from everybody else who's gatekeeping their information is giving away all your shit for free on social media. I did this on my Instagram. That's what helped me go from 0 to 50K. It's because I don't hold back. I give all my best shit away for free, and guess what? On the other side of you giving away all that free stuff, people will lean in to work with you anyways, because people don't pay for information, they pay for implementation. Number four, become someone worth following. I see a lot of people skipping till the end, building a personal brand off of no life experience. If you want to build a prolific personal brand on social media, you have to do cool shit and then talk about it. Don't skip to the next part. Dan Martell built and exited 3 software companies before he ever built his personal brand. And so if you want to build a really strong personal brand, yes, post content every day to build the reps, but what you have to do in tandem is gain life experience so you can talk about that life experience in your content. For example, I had already built Dan Martell's personal brand, but then I went on this mission of building my personal brand, so I had something else to talk about. I have the proof of building a personal brand to 10 million followers, but then I also have the proof of building, my personal brand from 0 to 50K and beyond. Number five, frameworks beat creativity. I see a lot of people building personal brands based off creativity, right? I'm just going to be creative in my content. And the truth is that creativity doesn't scale. What scales is frameworks, and it's understanding what content performs and what content doesn't. And if you're not building your content in a way where you're following frameworks, for me, my HIDE framework, right? Hook, explain, illustrate, teach, which is literally the framework I use in 90% of my content, helps me scale without having to have tons of creativity. Number six, stop being original. Honestly, originality is overrated. I'm not saying go copy everybody's content, but get inspired by the topics, the angles, and the formats that people are using to get results on social media. Number seven, just post less. I see a lot of people posting 10, 15, 20 videos a day, but all of them are shit. Quality is more important than quantity. I don't want you guys to go post 1 video a month, but pick a cadence that you think is sustainable. For example, 1 a day, maybe 1 every other day, and focus on the quality of the information that you're sharing, not just posting another video. Number eight, your content should feel like a conversation, not a presentation. I see a lot of people making content as if they're on stage, speaking to a room of people. And the truth is, your content that is going to perform the best is the content that's speaking to one person, not a room of people. And so if you want to get more views and followers on social media, make your content feel conversational, not like you're on stage presenting to a room. Number nine, ignore your comments, right? You're going to have positive comments and negative comments on social media, but the truth is the more you can ignore what people are saying about you, the better your content is going to perform, because you're going to create content that's aligned with your interests. And if you don't worry so much about what people are going to say about this, then that's when you unlock extreme authenticity. Number 10, topic over everything. I believe fancy editing, fancy gear, fancy lighting doesn't matter on social media, although I'm shooting this with a fancy camera. But on my Instagram, I built my personal brand from 0 to 50K with just my iPhone. And so if you think that getting fancy equipment, fancy gear matters more than the topics that you pick, which is what I think are the most important, then you're missing the full picture. Topic is the most important thing. And how you pick the best topic for your platforms is you make sure you pick topics that have demand, which means people care about it, fit with your audience. For example, if I make a video about getting abs in 90 days, I don't think it's going to perform as well as a video about content. And then the last one is interest. You're genuinely interested about the topic. And if you want my custom GPT that you just load your niche into and it gives you 25 validated topics to talk about, just go on my Instagram and message me the word topic and I'll send it over to you. Number 11, understand labeling versus signaling, right? You see a lot of content creators online right now using labeling, right? If you're a person in your 20s, if you're a millionaire, if you're a 7-figure business owner, and that's totally fine. But a more effective way of getting people's attention is by signaling. And signaling means using phrases and terms that only that person would understand. An example in my content, when I say build a personal brand for your business, all the business owners are interested. right? Because they understand the importance of personal brand. And so if you want to get results on social media, don't just use labeling, also use signaling to get people to lean in. Number 12, use old way versus new way framing, right? I love using this frame because it's really powerful in helping people understand what you're talking about. An example of that in my content is whenever I say, you can't clickbait people into watching your YouTube videos anymore. It's not 2016. Now you have to get people to click and actually retain through the YouTube video. That helps people understand that the platform has changed and it puts some weight on the information that you're sharing. Number 13, use self-articulated words, right? You want to make sure that the words that you're saying are things that people actually want. If I say I'm going to help you make more revenue versus help you make more money, the total addressable market or TAM on make more revenue is a lot smaller. I'm always going to opt for the language that applies to the broadest total addressable market, which means if I'm teaching people how to make more revenue, I'm actually going to position it as making more money so I can attract a broader audience. Number 14, follow CCN Fit. This is a framework I learned from Patty Galloway, MrBeast's YouTube strategist, and it comes down to this. Make all your content applicable to your core, casual, and new audience. Not just your core audience, but make every topic that you pick. For example, for us, whenever we talk about meetings being the biggest time waster in any company, that topic applies to our core audience, the business owner that runs a business, our casual audience, the people that maybe are on a lot of meetings and they hate it because it could have been an email, and our new audience understands the concept of meetings, right? So you want to make sure that all your content is applicable to your CCN, so that way you can make videos that get 2 million views and then also attract your ICP or ideal customer profile. Number 15, make sure your content is clear over clever. How clear you are in your content will dictate how it performs. If you're making content that only a university professor can understand, you're never going to get views on social media. And explaining concepts in a simple way helps beginners understand for the first time and experts understand more. Number 16, know your numbers. I see a lot of people trying to build a personal brand being blindfolded because they're not actually tracking their metrics on a daily basis. For me, I track my followers and Dan Martell's followers on a daily basis, right? And that is the key to build a personal brand, is knowing what direction you're going in and how fast is that velocity going. And there's 2 metrics that I track that I think are the most important, and it's views or impressions and followers added per piece of content. Other than that, I ignore all the metrics. I just focus on the things that actually matter. Number 17, reduce the time between idea and action. If you're excited about shooting a YouTube video or a short form piece of content, shoot it today. Don't wait till the next week or the week after where that fire actually diminishes. You have to shoot content when you're excited about the topics. Don't wait till your shoot day to make that piece of content. If you feel like you want to make it right now, just make it. Number 18, different is better than better. I see a lot of people trying to just make better content than everybody else, but the truth is differentiation will make your content perform better than just making better content. We don't need more Dan Martells in today's world. We don't need more Sam Gadets. We need more yous. And if you can differentiate yourself from everybody else, which we'll get into in some of the points in this video, you will make your content perform better than 99% of people. Number 19, mine your experience, not your competitors, right? You want to make sure that your content ideas are coming from your personal experience, your stories, your analogies, your frameworks. Why? Because that is uncopyable and that will set you apart from everybody else. That is what differentiates you, is your personal story. And you want to stay as close as possible to that and not other people's content. And if somebody else can regurgitate your content word for word, then you're never going to build a prolific personal brand. Number 20, top of mind is the ultimate top of funnel. Posting content every day or every week on YouTube long form is the ultimate way to fill your top of funnel. Imagine you had a friend that was a plumber and he sent you a text every day for a year, and later on that year you get a plumbing issue. Who do you think you're going to reach out for help? That person. Why? Because of recency. He understands that being top of mind is the ultimate top of funnel. And so if you're thinking about maybe I should post once a week, 3 times a week on social media, I think top of mind is the ultimate top of funnel. And what you need to do is set up a specific cadence that keeps you top of mind. And for me, that's once a day. Number 21, pick the hill that you want to die on, also known as understand your contrarian takes, right? In today's age, I see a lot of people, picking all the hills and dying on all the hills and, being contrarian take maxing, right? Going against the grain on every single thing that's ever possible in their niche. And the truth is, I like to pick anywhere between 3 to 5 contrarian takes, unique perspectives that go against the grain. Like, you don't need any fancy equipment to get views on social media. You can just use your iPhone to grow on social media and share those in my content. Why? Because that will set you apart from everybody else. Because when you pick hills that you want to die on, it will attract the right people and repel the wrong people. Number 21, use promise, proof, plan in your videos. Make sure that every single video has a really clear promise of what the person is going to get, the proof of why you're the person that's qualified to talk about that thing, and then the plan that you're going to take them through to get them to that outcome. Think about the 3 questions that somebody asks when they watch a YouTube video. What is this about? Why should I listen to you? And how are you going to help me get that outcome? And if you can answer those 2 by providing a promise, proof, and a plan, that is how you will get performance on social media. Number 22, use unique mechanisms to pique curiosity, right? You've seen me do this in my content with my Hyde framework, or even Dan Martell with the 10-80-10 rule. But when you name things, you give things names, that turns it into a unique mechanism and gets people to lean in and ask themselves, what is that? What is he talking about? And giving things names will create what I call VWOM, viral word of mouth, and get people talking about you, building your personal brand without you being involved involved. Number 23, teach AI to speak human. If you go to ChatGPT and you say, make me a viral video, you're never gonna get a viral video. But what you have to do is distill what viral actually means, right? Say things like, give me novel, non-obvious concepts. Avoid M dashes. Use contractions. Instead of saying what is or they all, say they'll and what's. That is how you train your AI to speak human. And that is how you will get videos that will perform using AI without it sounding like a robot. Number 24, use the 3 C's of a hook, right? Make sure that every single hook provides context for what's going to be said in the video, gives a contrarian take, and then creates an open loop so that people watch till the end. Number 25, avoid cub when writing copy. Make sure everything you write in your YouTube titles, LinkedIn posts, Twitter threads is not confusing, unbelievable, or boring. And if you can follow that rule, you will make content that will perform better than 99% of people. Number 27, authenticity is a skill you can build, right? Being on camera isn't easy, but the more you do it, the more authentic you'll feel on camera. And so if you're asking yourself, should I start today? Literally just pick up your phone and start filming yourself. And if you do that time and time again, the difference between you talking to a friend and talking to your camera is going to be minimal. Number 28, use dramatic demonstrations in your content. If you've ever looked into the story of the elevator, everybody was scared of using them at first. The person that designed the elevators put on a show for everybody in New York City where he essentially showed people what it looks like when the elevator cable gets cut. And so he cut the cable and then the steel beams came out and literally stopped the elevator where it was. And everybody saw the dramatic demonstration of how not bad it was. And what you have to do in your content is show those dramatic demonstrations of you doing the thing that you do better than anybody else. That is why in my content, I try to dramatically demonstrate how I make my videos, right? If you watch my content, it's super meta. And the same thing goes for Dan Martell. We're showing him building AI companies in real time, giving people a dramatic demonstration that builds trust and then gets people to buy. Number 29, collaborate with audience overlap. Make sure that everyone you're collaborating with, whether you're going on a podcast or going on a stage or, even just doing a collab that person has audience overlap with your audience. The worst thing you could do is find someone in a completely different niche, collaborate with them, and then you get the complete wrong audience on your platform. The key here is to be calculated in your collaborations. Make sure that you have very similar audiences so that way you complement each other. Number 30, batch your content weekly. A lot of people try to make content every day, but I truly believe that if you make content every day, you'll burn out. So what you want to do is post every day, but shoot your content every week. Make sure that you set a day that is your content day, whether it's on Friday, Thursday, but ideally a day that you don't have anything else, and you just batch your content on a weekly cadence. If you feel inspired to shoot certain videos, feel free to do it throughout the week, but you know that on that day, it's your content day. And that way you'll be able to scale your content without burning out. Number 31, use the re-edit, repost, and reshoot method, right? If you had a video that performed really well, that got, over 1 million views, let's say 100K views for you, first re-edit it, don't change the hook, but maybe move some stuff around in the middle of the video to try to make it perform better. Then repost it, right? Literally take that same video 60 days later and post it again on your main feed. Trust me, this works really well. And the last thing you want to do is reshoot. Literally take that same topic and reshoot it in a different environment and then post that video. Because the truth is, you don't need to come up with new ideas. You just need to take the topics that have performed for you in the past and remake them in a new way. Number 32, use asymmetric pacing, right? You've probably seen Mr. Beast do this, but it's this simple concept that every single video should start off fast and build momentum. And so your first, second, third, fourth point should be fast. And then everything after that should slow down over time. If you've ever watched like a progress bar on an ad that goes really fast and then slows down over time, that is what you want to create, is this illusion of progress. And asymmetric pacing will help you do that. Number 33, follow the sacred timeline. If you've ever watched the show Loki, that's where it comes from, but there's essentially a sacred timeline that if you break, you messed up. I see content as the same thing. If you have a sacred timeline, a promise, right? Something that you promise the audience, and at any point you drift from that promise where, maybe you make a video about making money and you're like, here's how to make money in 2026. And all of a sudden you talk about a story that's not relevant to the core promise of the video, you have to cut that shit out because that will make the audience more confused than anything else. And if you want to make your videos perform consistently on social media, you have to follow the sacred timeline. Number 34, use the lake method. There's this content method online right now that's called the waterfall method, where you make one pillar piece of content and then repurpose content from that piece of content. The problem is now you're optimizing for one thing and not the 7 things that are being created from that. And it usually just creates shitty outputs. What I like to do instead is imagine your content like a lake and just go fish in that lake and make sure that every single piece of content that gets posted on different platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, is the content that's going to perform the best on that platform. And if you don't think it's going to perform on that platform, don't post it. I'd rather you not post than post something that you know is going to shit the bed. Number 35, assign channel owners. Now, if you've been on the journey of building a personal brand for a while now and you're kind of stuck, what you want to do is assign channel owners, right? If you have a team of, 5 to 7 people on your personal brand, you want to give people ownership over the platforms. Don't sit back and hold on to all these things yourself. You want to give people ownership over what content gets posted on that platform, how they distribute it across the platforms, and then review the analytics and provide insights on what we should change. So if you're stuck posting on all the platforms, just hire people to own those channels and report on the performance over time. Number 36, the best platforms are the ones you already use. People always ask me, what is the platform I should be posting on? And I always respond with the one you use already. Your unique advantage is what you understand about the platform. And if you use LinkedIn every single day, you're going to have insights into how LinkedIn works more than someone who's never used it. And don't skip to the next shiny object, posting on YouTube, Instagram, if you understand other platforms better. And so if you're thinking, what platform should I start on? Just think about what platform do I naturally open whenever I go on my phone. Number 37, understand the theory of constraints. Whenever you're solving a problem on your media team or in your content, it's always about constraints. For example, if we think about content like, a car factory, if that factory can make 10 bodies, 10 engines, but only 4 wheels, you're constrained by the amount of wheels that factory can make, because you can only technically make 1 car a day. And so any time spent on making more engines or making more bodies is wasted time. What you have to do is figure out how can you make more wheels. A lot of people in the content space are solving the wrong problem, and you have to understand where is your constraint on your media team or in your content engine, and only attack that problem and solve it. Number 38, understand supply and demand. That is ultimately what social media is. There's supply, which is content, and then demand, which is people watching that content. And if you understand that equation, you'll figure out real quick that some platforms like Facebook have a supply-demand issue. There's a lot of demand, they have a few billion users, but they don't have a lot of supply, right? There's more content being created on YouTube and on Instagram. And so if you can tap into that supply-demand problem like us, you'll grow your Facebook page a lot faster. Number 39, owned versus earned media, right? Make sure that you understand the difference between both and that you're building your owned channels. For example, earned media is, YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook, TikToks, but then your own media is your SMS list, your email list, the stuff that you actually own. If Instagram and Facebook go down tomorrow, who can you actually contact? And the biggest mistake I see most content creators make is get excited by the amount of followers they have on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, but never focus on getting phone numbers or emails where they actually own a contact and they can contact that person whether the platforms are around or not. And so if you want to build a strong personal brand and you don't want to get fucked in the future, make sure to build your owned channels. Number 40, when things get easy, go hard. Right? I see a lot of people taking their foot off the gas whenever their personal brand is growing fast, but guess what? When you get a format, a topic, or something that pops off, ignore everything else and just focus all your attention on growing that one channel. Because that topic, that format might only be hot for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and you'd be stupid not to focus on growing that as aggressively as possible. Number 41, brand is repeated association. A lot of people don't want to repeat the same topics over and over again because they feel like their audience has heard it before. But if you look at people like Dan Martell, Gary Vee, or even other big personal brands online, they repeat the same 5 to 10 things. And that is what builds a really strong brand, is repeating the same topics time and time again until people can't help but associate you with those topics. Number 42, prioritize nuanced and observable problems in your content. Make sure that everything you're talking about is observable, right? A lot of people talk about theory, things that people can't see. And the best content that I've seen perform on all platforms is content that people use examples in, gives them stories, right? Gives them analogies so that they can connect something that is unknown to something that they already know. Number 43, define and redefine terms. Just like I did in this video when I said brand is repeated association, you want to make sure that you're defining all the terms like brand in your videos so that people see you as an authority. Number 44, tap into your viewers' emotions. I think there's 4 core emotions that you want your viewers to feel, which is hopes, dreams, fears, and blockers. And if you can address all those 4 emotions in your content, you will make your content perform better. For example, if I'm making a YouTube video and the topic of that video is how to make money, right? I could hit it from the hopes angle, which is like, here's how to make $1 million in 2026, or I could hit it from a fears angle, which is like, you'll never become rich until you understand this. But make sure to understand what emotion do you want your viewer to feel in that specific video and make your videos according to that. Number 45, hire a content manager or a creative director as soon as possible. If you're a business owner and you're creating content to get leads, the last thing you should do is spend all your time creating content. And you should, as soon as possible, ideally, within the first year of you building your personal brand, hire a creative director, hire a content manager, like Dan did with me. Because what that does is it puts all the accountability of building your personal brand on somebody else that you can hold accountable, and they will take action on a daily basis so that you're not the bottleneck. Number 46, stop taking advice from people who haven't done the thing. I've seen a lot of people take content advice from people with 500 followers. And the truth is, if they haven't built a prolific personal brand, don't listen to their advice and go find the people online that are legit, that have built personal brands, and ask them for advice. Not the person down the street who has opinions, the person who has opinions based on fact and experience. Number 47, train based on principles principles, not preferences. Whenever you're training your media team, or anybody on your team for that matter, you want to make sure that you're assigning principles to all the things that you're teaching, not just your preferences. It's not like, hey, I like this thumbnail better. It's like, why do you like that thumbnail better, right? Assign it a principle. I think we should make thumbnails clear, not clever, right? Where one could be a little bit too clever and the one you like is more clear. That's an example of a principle. And guess what? You can use those principles in your actual content, which is a super meta thing that I love doing in these videos. Number 48, build artifacts, not telephone games, right? You want to make sure that everything you're creating, right, whether it's a checklist, a SOP, a piece of content, that you're locking it in an artifact that you can now translate to somebody else. And the personal brands that I've seen scale past, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million followers across all platforms, they're the ones that create artifacts of the principles that they believe and then are able to share those artifacts with their team so that the team actually scales. Number 49, train one person for multiple roles. When you're going on this journey of building your media team, make sure that you're training people for not just one, not just two, but 3, 4, 5, 6 roles. Because guess what? The person that designs the thumbnails nowadays with AI could also be editing the videos, could also be scheduling them on YouTube. And the biggest mistake I see most media companies make is only assign one role to one person. Where in today's age, with AI, you can literally do 7, 10, 12 roles with one single pair of hands. And then finally, number 50, you can't lose if you don't quit, right? I've seen a lot of people quit on social media because it's hard. And the truth is, if you want to build a personal brand fast, you're going to have to put the reps in, right? And you can't quit, even if it feels hard, even when you feel like it's a waste of time. Trust me, on the other side of you pushing through, you will find more fulfillment, more impact, and more money in your bank than any other endeavor that you could take on. So those are the 50 content hacks that you can use to build your personal brand fast. And as a reminder, if you want my custom GPT that I've built, that you literally drop your niche in and it gives you 25 validated videos, just go on my Instagram, message me the word topic, and I'll send it over to you. And if you want to grow on social media so fast that it kind of feels like cheating, click here.